Alana, Jaylo.
Yes.
How's it going?
Good. I had a little nap and it took me a while to get up, but I'm a little bit refreshed. How about you, Bubs?
I'm doing all right.
Mm-hmm.
I woke up about 10 minutes before my alarm was scheduled to go off this morning. So around 5:50.
Mm-hmm.
Got ready. Came over here. Had a very good Lyft driver.
Good.
The only issue I had was between bringing the turkey over early because I wanted to make sure I didn't forget it next week.
Uh-huh. Mm-hmm.
I ran out of my apartment and I didn't realize until I got downstairs that I forgot my mask.
Uh-huh.
So that was a little bit strange, but luckily I keep extras in my backpack.
Ah.
Has that ever happened to you?
No, because I always made sure. Well, I keep a couple of them in my purse, and I never, I put them. I have a place where I keep them. So that's never happened to me before. No.
I think this is probably the first time I've walked out my front door without a mask since May.
Oh wow. No, now it's like, okay, I better put this thing on because if I don't, they're gonna, beat me over the head with it or whatever. I'm just kidding. I just hope this isn't the new normal where people have to go out of their doors just to put masks on, and I don't know.
You mean leave their house?
Leave their house
the mask.
with no, I mean on. Having to, like when this thing is all over, because I don't think it's going to last forever. And when everything starts to quote unquote normalize, whatever that is, whatever that looks like, I hope it's not the new norm where people leave their doors and they have to take a mask with them. It's just very odd to me.
I doubt that we will still be wearing masks in the same way this time next year, but time will tell.
I don't think so either. I mean, I would hope that we don't have to do that, because it's been like we had 10 months of this stuff,
It's a lot, babes.
Well, 9-10 months, give or take. It's still very annoying.
Yes.
But I hope it isn't definitely things. I hope that they change by next year or even sooner than that.
Well, that's like, 10 days away? I guess 13, but...
It's 13.
I doubt they're going to change too much before then.
We'll see, bub.
Yes, babes.
We will see.
They say that Congress is working on another stimulus package, and that supposedly because of the way it's done, they need every senator to sign off on it. Uh-huh. And Bernie apparently is refusing to sign off unless there's some sort of stimulus for regular people. Oh. But they're only the Republicans and some other Democrats, in fairness, are only willing to go to like $600. But it's something.
Mm.
Yes.
Well, $600 is, because now I personally don't want this to keep on going on longer than it should, but $600 is something. It's not $1,000 or more than that, but it's something.
It's very little, especially when you consider all these politicians, for the most part, would rush to do this bill if it was just to help out big corporations. I think.
I don't know about that. Well, maybe the establishment ones would, but corporations do need help too. I mean, just because they're big corporations, like, I don't know, like the airlines, for example, or restaurants, big national chains.
Yeah. So Joel Osteen. We've talked about him before.
I'm not a Joel Osteen fan. Yes.
Well, you're not going to be after this one, at least.
Oh.
I was watching Secular Talk the other day.
Well, yeah, of course. If you watch a show like Secular Talk, they're gonna, browbeat Christians. But go on.
I thought you just said you're not a fan of.
I'm not, but I wouldn't be caught dead watching Secular Talk either.
It's a great show. Kyle's awesome, but I said that before. I think Kyle was saying, and I might have the numbers wrong, but Joel Osteen got something like $5 million from the first bailout.
What?
Yeah.
Why?
I don't know. And again, I was doing this while doing other things, so I might have the number on, but it was somewhere in the millions.
I mean, okay, so with a show like Secular Talk, I mean, let's. I don't know about it. I don't watch it, but do you think it's possible that the number of how much this guy got is exaggerated?
No, and you got to remember, Kyle also, the host of it, criticizes people on the left too for like being too sensitive about things.
Okay.
So he leans left, but I think he has a pretty good perspective on things. It's pretty balanced, I think.
I don't know, but okay. So, yeah, I don't think that well-known preachers like Joel Osteen, who I am not a fan of for different reasons, should be getting more money than he should get, because really a pastor does not need all that money. It's, that's why I don't like televangelists very much. And I know because I used to watch a little bit of that stuff, and I didn't. What really got me upset is that people would donate or give, and a lot of them that are really well known, the ones that have like mega churches, they will use it to buy, I don't know, a jet or something, or they'll buy something that's really extravagant. And I'm like Benny Hinn, right? For example, let's use Benny Hinn for an example. Okay. Benny Hinn, well-known pastor, but also he's like living high off the hog. And that's not something that that sat well with me.
I think Joel Osteen probably has a pretty nice place too.
He probably does. And if he did get $5 million, I hope he put it to good use. Not buying like an extra property on Maui or something.
Right.
I don't like that. I don't like that. I don't like these prosperity preachers, because that's what they do. They make money off of it. And it's a lot of people are, even his own nephew, Benny Hinn's nephew. I heard an interview that he did, and he realized it early on that the prosperity gospel is it plays on people's emotions, and while everybody is the ones who truly need some help are paying to go to these conferences or to go to these events with Benny Hinn, they're not getting any more healed than they were. They're not changing any more than they were before they got in there. And because he's getting all those, he's profiting off of people's emotions.
Yeah.
And I don't like that. And that should not be happening.
It's kind of like the Christian equivalent of single guys who go to these masculine events, right?
Yeah, we did talk about that, didn't we? Yes.
Yes.
What a ripoff.
It is.
What a ripoff. I'm glad his nephew figured it out, because he's no longer in that movement. And he is a pastor, but he doesn't preach the prosperity gospel. And it's an evil thing that they're doing. If I could say so myself.
I agree with you, babes.
Yeah, I do criticize people like that, because it's so contrary to what biblical teaching says about that. It's terrible.
Isn't there some quote in the Bible? It's like, it's easier to get through the eye of a camel than it is for a rich person to get to heaven or something.
You got it slightly.
I'm known for butchering quotes,
it is easier to go through the eye of a needle. It's easier. I have to find it though, to go through the eye of a needle. What it's
than to be rich.
No. Yeah, it is talking about rich people, but here's and it was specifically referring to people that that have all these possessions, and they're not willing to give up their possessions and follow God. They care more about their possessions than their own soul. So it's harder for a rich person to do that. Well, I think some figuratively and some figuratively and literally, not all of them. So I think it's kind of interesting. But have you noticed, though, that the people that have less money seem to be a lot more happier?
I don't know if that's always the case.
Not always the case, but some are.
I know people who are in a much better financial position than I am, who are very depressed. I will say that.
Yeah, I would agree. I'm definitely not in a better financial situation than some, but I'm happy with being able to get the things that I need.
Yeah, but I also know a couple of rich people. One I'm thinking about in particular who lives a really good life, and I don't just mean he travels in private planes everywhere.
Right.
I mean he's kind to people. I talk to him fairly often, and he seems relatively happy. But he also puts in the work of being a good person.
Right. Yeah, so there are exceptions to the rule. Because not every rich person is like that. They don't flaunt it. They don't advertise it. You know. They know how to use their money well. You know what I mean?
Yeah, like this person I'm thinking of is not a lavish spender. And he's also the type of person who, I haven't looked at his financials, but I know that he's a very charitable human being as well.
Oh, yeah, I know who that is.
Yeah.
I don't have to say his name.
No, you don't have to say his name here. Yeah. I don't think he wants his spot blown up, but he is a good person. I do think that he's genuinely happy, but it's not just how much money you have, it's how you use it, I guess.
Right, I think you're right about that, because some rich people, they either could play down their richness or they advertise it and everybody knows that they've got a lot of money, but they're just the most bitter person ever. And very depressed.
Well, I know somebody who, let's just say they're doing really well because of their parents. And
living high off the hog, huh?
They have the best intentions in life.
Yes.
But they're a little bit older than I am. And they seem very unhappy. They never find a good relationship to be in. They can't get their career off the ground.
I thought this person was younger.
I'm thinking of, I'm telling you about a different person I know.
Oh, okay. I don't know this person then.
But,
okay.
So it is interesting to see how people handle it differently.
So again, this person is rich, but explain that to me.
Well, they have money because of their parents, right?
Uh-huh.
And they're older than I am, and I'm going to be 38 next year. They're a number of years older than I am. They never got their career off the ground. They have this person has short-term relationships with women.
Oh,
and
yeah.
It's always talking about how they're going to get things together, and they never do. And this person, I think, means well, but just never figured it out.
You know what I think it might be? Because a lot of rich people, maybe not a lot, I shouldn't say a lot. Some rich people just do not learn about life skills, right? They don't know how to do for them. Maybe not how to do for themselves, but they don't know how to manage manage their own life.
Yeah, like it's oddly, because I'm not religious, the first person I told you about who has money and who is happy and is a good person is very religious. So he's somebody who religion has worked for.
I will say this, that there have been studies about people that that have some kind of spiritual beliefs in their life, and they seem a lot more happy than the people that don't. Even if they're a little bit spiritual and they're looking for it, spirituality, and you know what spirituality is. They said that they're a lot happier and healthier.
Well, I'm a very spiritual person, and I do think that it contributes to happiness if used correctly.
Right. But yeah, I think that some rich people are grown up. They're grown up with things being handed to them, and they just don't know any. They don't have a lot of life skills.
Yeah, and they don't know that other people struggle, and it's not necessarily their fault. But if you're not aware of that, then you don't know how bad things can necessarily get.
And they don't know how some people have to stretch out their money. They have to save up their money. They have to make sure they've got, they're set for for the months ahead.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a really humbling thing. It really is.
Yes.
It's a humbling thing. And, sometimes people have to find a way to make sure that they're getting by okay. Because, as some people would say, the struggle is real.
Yes, it is. It's very real, especially in this day and age.
The struggle is very real this year. And you just, you kind of flubbed on something you just said.
What did I say?
A while ago. You said you're turning 38 next year.
Did I say that?
It's this year. This is a few days.
Well, why didn't I start lying about my age? I'm 36 now. I'll be 37 next week, and next year I'll be turning 38.
Yeah, I can say that I'm 35.
Right.
I'm 30. I'm going to be 35 next April, which isn't true.
On a side note, I never got people who lied about their age.
I met someone who did, and she did it in the worst way.
No, I know a lot of people who do it. I
don't understand why,
but it always shocked me.
I think some people are so obsessed with youthfulness. Some women.
Men too.
And they're so obsessed with youthfulness, and I understand that, but after a while it's like, you turn the big, whatever it is, 50 or something, but you get over it. You deal with what you have to deal with, and you move on. I mean, that's what I think. It's like, everybody's getting old besides you.
Yeah.
I know people that have, I have a friend who's much older, who's a little older than I am. Not much older, but like a good 9 years older. That's a pretty good age gap. But, she turned, every time she turns a big age, she's like, well, it's fine. I mean, it's a part of life. I don't really think about that stuff. I'm like, okay.
I'm not very excited about going to the doctors and, so like my grandparents,
mm-hmm.
I remember whenever I would go and see them, they talk about seeing their doctors like it was their social life.
Like you have an appointment next week and another one the same
day, and let's go to the calendar. And then the next day we have this appointment with this doctor, and I don't want that to be my life.
Yeah, it's the same thing with mine. They don't talk about it all the time, but I do notice that, they have to get ready for appointments and things like that, and yeah.
I want to check out before that happens, but the number doesn't really concern me. It's what comes along with it.
Yeah. Because some people will say things like, you're only as old as you feel.
Mm-hmm.
Or you're only as young as you feel. And it's true that I've talked to people that were much older than me, and they'll say, you know what? I still, in my mind, the way that I feel in my mind, my heart, I feel much younger than I feel I feel much younger, than I feel physically, or something like that. So
I still see myself as someone in their early 20s.
I do too sometimes.
Yes.
Or early 30s, whichever.
Or 10.
10? No, that's a long time ago, folks.
Okay, babes.
I definitely don't see myself as a 10-year-old. Well, I know some people say, 40 is a new 30. I don't know if I believe that.
They've been saying that since we were
30 is a new 20. Does that mean that 20 is a new 10?
I don't know.
Or 10 is a new infant?
They shouldn't let you into the club if you're 20.
Yes.
You gotta wait another 10 years.
Yeah.
Yes.
To be a part of the 20 club. Yeah. Well, I do remember when I was, 21, right? And thinking, oh my goodness, I can't believe I'm in my 20s. And thinking, I wonder how it's going to be 10 years from now. How would my life change? How would it be different? But I think with age, well, most of the time, you would think that with age, people would mature more. And I think I definitely have matured in the last 20 plus years.
Yeah, I know a lot of people who have never grown up. And I'm talking people in their 60s.
I know. I do too. And it's really sad to see. It's really sad to see. And it's like, well, you lived longer than me. Haven't you kind of figured out your own problems?
It's weird because I don't want to become that old guy who only has relationships with my doctors. But I also don't want to become that guy who never achieves some form of maturity.
Yeah.
So that's finding that balance. And each person has to do that individually.
Yeah. I want to be the kind of old person that, grows grows distinguished in a good way, as I get older. When my hair changes and when I shrink into a little old lady, you know what I mean? I want to be like how my relatives are, because I don't even think to me they're not old. I mean, they're still stylish. They still do a lot of things. They still like to garden. Some of them like to garden. Some of them like to travel. I want to be like them because they don't seem old to me.
I will say this. Your relative who visited,
yes,
despite being like super into the Bible, she seemed relatively youthful.
She is. And there's nothing wrong with being in the Bible, as you will find out tomorrow.
Well, maybe to a point, babe.
Bubs.
Babes.
It's good for you.
Oh, I don't know about that, Jaylo.
Well, I'll just say this for the record, that I am a little bit nervous about how tomorrow is going to be.
But that's why we're recording the Bible lesson you're going to give me and releasing it as a podcast.
Right. Because this is going to be the first time I ever did that, something like that.
Yes.
And I've been thinking about it over the years, not just recently, but I was thinking about it over the years and where I would start. But I think you'll get a lot out of it. I think you will.
I'm going to ask a lot of questions, but you already know this, so.
And upon request, I will read 10 verses at a time.
Because you wanted to do like 50 or something.
No, not that much.
Okay.
No, I was thinking 20, but I thought, well, maybe that's a little too much because
I need time to process it and to ask questions.
Yeah, I think 10 verses is a good length.
And these aren't like Jay-Z where he spits like a hot 16. They're not like that.
No, I'm not going to rap these verses.
No, but I mean they're not the length of like a Jay-Z song.
No.
Okay.
Some of them are just a couple of lines.
Oh, good.
Couple, 2-3 lines.
Yes.
Separated by like a colon or something, or it could be just one line.
Mm.
But 10 verses are going to go by pretty fast.
Yes. Very good. Babes.
But anyway, so I got my Walmart order this morning.
Oh yeah, let's talk about this. I thought we were going to say this for the end, but let's do it now.
Well, I mean, I just wanted to get out of the way.
Go ahead.
I was a little bit disappointed because I did not get any French bread.
The original plan was we were going to make subs for dinner tonight.
But I think I have an idea about what I can do.
What are you thinking, babes?
I think maybe I'll do a quick order from Instacart because I don't need to get a whole lot of things. In fact, I was going to get some frozen mango, but I had a hard time adding it last night. I really did. I was like, it was having like this weird like technical glitch, and it was very annoying. I don't know. I mean, how much technical difficulties that you had with Walmart, but last night it was just not doing what it was supposed to do, and I was very frustrated.
Do you want to make some mango Leslie or just a regular mango thing?
Maybe the mango lassie next time.
Okay.
Because I don't have to do it this week, but I would like to make us some smoothies. I love smoothies.
I'll have some of your smoothies, babes.
Yes.
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 Yes, you. Whoa.
Yes.
I'm excited, babes.
Can you make, if you're making a mango lassi, can you mix it with pineapple?
I've never done that.
That might actually be good.
It's possible. Or we could do like a tropical drink one day where we do just pineapple, coconut, and mango.
Oh, for a smoothie?
Yeah.
That might be good. You mean get some coconut flakes or coconut milk or something?
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah, that'll be something to think about.
One day, Jaylo.
One day, bud.
Well, we talked about the good book. And you and I read a good book this week called Animal Farm, which I have experienced before. I should say we listened to the audio version.
Well, it doesn't really matter. Reading, we sometimes we listen as a way of reading.
Yeah, but there is a difference, though.
I know, but it definitely goes by fast.
I know, but there's still a difference, babes.
It is.
Since you have never read it before, do you want to take the lead on this, or do you want me to?
I want to take the lead on this.
Tell me.
Oh my goodness. So, here's a basic premise. There's a farm called the Manna Farm. I'm guessing this farm is located in England in the book. And there's a whole bunch of animals. There's pigs, there's dogs, there's cows, there's sheep, there's horses, there's rats and rabbits. They're part of the wild animals. And then you've got some pigeons and the rest of the birds. And it's a nice little farm. It's run by Mr. Jones and his wife. And Mr. Jones is a drunkard. And it was very, he drinks a lot, but he runs this farm. And one day there's this pig that is called Old Major, and I don't remember what his real name was. And he's this wise old pig, and he talks about the dream that he had about a society where animals were free from humans. He gives a speech, and everybody is really, really on board with this. And he teaches them a song called Beasts of England, which I thought was kind of funny because the author saying it's a melody, it's a song that sounds between Clementine and La Cucaracha. So if you think about da 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 da, and then La Cucaracha, da 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 da, it's kind of like, I wonder how that's put together. So they sing Beasts of England 7 times or however it is, because I guess it's a very easy song. And they're all happy about this. And then I believe it was 3 days later he dies. Am I right?
In his sleep.
In his sleep he dies because he's a very old pig. Well, Snowball, who's one of the pigs. Now, to give context, the pigs are the most intelligent in the group, besides the dogs. The pigs and the dogs are pretty intelligent, but the pigs are, what it sounds to me like they are of higher intelligence than the other animals. So Snowball kind of takes the lead and says, I think that we should have the 7 commandments that we should not associate with humans. No drinking alcohol, no sleeping in beds, no taking any food from humans, no having them pet you, completely live independent of humans and depend on ourselves and work for ourselves, right? Giving themselves food, making a windmill, which is his biggest project. They wanted to make a windmill so that the windmill would do a lot of work for them and it would be easier for them to handle. It would generate a lot of power. Well, things, they work through the all 4 seasons, and it is hard work, but generally under Snowball's lead, it's...
May I interrupt you for a minute?
Yes. Why?
If I am remembering the book correctly,
yes,
there is another pig named Napoleon.
Yes, I was going to get to that, Bubs.
Well, but it plays into the book earlier than the point to where you got to it.
Yeah, I know.
Because Snowball wanted to build the windmill.
Yes, he did.
And Napoleon was against it. And we are led to believe that these two pigs had a contentious relationship for a while.
They certainly did, yeah.
Eventually, Napoleon uses these dogs to chase Snowball off the farm, and it's because of the windmill. Yes. It's because Snowball really wanted the windmill. Like a few days later, Napoleon changes his view, and then they start work on the windmill.
And just to let you know, Snowball escapes through a hole in the hedge.
Yes, keep going.
Yes, so he changes his view, and they eventually build the windmill. And so you get the sense that the reason why they didn't do it is because Napoleon wanted to drive Snowball out of the farm. They also overthrow, earlier in the book, before this rebellion, they rebel against Mr. Jones, and they throw him and his wife out of the farm. They overthrow him.
Well, yeah, that's how they get control.
Yes, that's exactly it. I totally forgot that part. So, Napoleon has all this control, but there's little things that happen. So they make the 7 commandments about humans, but they change things a little bit about alcohol, about sleeping in beds, little things that the animal and the animals are noticing things about what Squealer has. Squealer is one of the pigs. What Squealer has discussed with them about, and they keep forgetting whether they talked about it or whether it was discussed, or and Squealer's like, oh, you remember that we talked about this, or you don't really, he kind of uses these tactics to manipulate their minds, because some of them are very dumb. The horses are not very smart. The cows and the sheep are not smart at all. And the hens and the hens are not, the roosters are not, whichever. And the only smart ones are the pigs and the dogs, because the dogs are used as a security for the pigs.
Yeah, I don't know if I'd say that the dogs are smart, but they're like the Secret Service.
They are like the Secret Service.
Yeah.
Yes. Maybe they're not as smart they're not as smart as the pigs, but they do protect them. So Napoleon takes complete control. They build the windmill. Boxer is this horse that is doing a lot of the work for the windmill, and he's using all of his strength, and he's a pretty strong and sturdy horse. And the mantras that he follows are, I will work harder, Napoleon is always right. And what is it? What else is it? I can't remember. It might be 4 legs. No, not 4 legs good.
You're
4 legs good,
song.
2 legs bad is the sheep, what they chant. But Napoleon is always right, and I will work harder, and I think it was Long Live Animal Farm. I can't remember what it was, but and the poor horse. So all these things are happening. One day, everything is destroyed for the windmill. Everything is knocked down. A mess is being made in the farm. Things are being the buckets are being toppled over, and the milk is missing, and all that, and they're running out of corn, and who do they blame? They blame Snowball. Napoleon blames Snowball. And they make you think that Snowball came back and did all these things, but we never see Snowball again. Isn't that interesting?
Mm-hmm.
Would you like to chime in now?
He gets a few animals to confess to conspiring with his former colleague.
And they're shot dead.
Yes.
Or they're killed. Not shot, but they're killed.
And Snowball is continued after this incident to be used as an excuse of why things keep going haywire.
Mm-hmm. And they keep going back to the battle at the cowshed.
Which is when they took over the farm.
Yep.
And people are starting to question because Snowball was this great hero.
He was a first-class hero, yep.
Napoleon keeps trying to reduce his role.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
As more and more time gets between the battle, the cowshed, and where they are.
Yeah, because they want, Napoleon wants all memories of Snowball to be completely diminished. Like he's dead to them now.
Well, he becomes the invisible enemy.
Because you never see him again, but everything is blamed on Snowball.
Yes. But we'll get to Snowball when we do character analysis.
Okay. Okay. Oh, yes, and little things are changing, like the pigs can sleep in for an extra hour. They start getting into the whiskey, which is kind of weird. The whiskey and the beer and all that. They each get a pint of beer or something. Each pig.
Something like
that. They get an amount of beer, and excuse me, and then and they're thinking, well, wait a minute, what's going on here? And, Muriel the goat has been reading things to Clover the horse, who's starting to realize that there's something going on here. And they change the commandments, and these animals, unfortunately, are easily manipulated because they know that, the pigs know what their weaknesses are. Their biggest weakness is that they don't want Mr. Jones to come back. And every time Squealer says, well, you don't want Mr. Jones to come back, do you? And they're like, no, we don't want that to happen. But then some of them are realizing, well, wait a minute. Under Jones's rule, we got more food. But
Squealer keeps trying to convince them by quoting these statistics, no, comrade, you actually get more food now. It just doesn't seem like it.
On a side note, I think I heard the name comrade. Isn't that like
Oh, babe, you really need to study history.
I wasn't done with the question.
Go ahead.
No, forget it.
No, go ahead.
Mm-mm.
Come on, babes.
No.
All right, you need a kiss, and then we'll get back. Babes, come on, give me a kiss.
Mm-mm.
Babes.
Mm-mm.
Jaylo, come on, give me a kiss.
No, you were mean.
No, sorry, but I was just saying how it was, but give me a kiss, okay?
I didn't even finish the question.
Give me a kiss. Now finish your question.
I'll ask later.
No, come on.
No.
That's now.
Mm-mm.
Come on, babes.
No.
Babes.
Mm-mm.
Come on, Jay, ask your question.
Well, okay, so the word comrade, isn't that... Oh, I forgot where I heard somewhere. Isn't that another word to describe... Like, if you're a part of, like, a totalitarian regime, isn't that another... I forgot what it... I'm trying to remember what that means.
Okay.
But I'm sorry.
We will get to a history book at some point. But babes, hold on. Let me explain. Mm-hmm. To the best of my knowledge, comrade is a Russian word that is meant to... as a word that you can use for friends.
Okay.
That was used a lot, when Russia was even more fucked up than it is today.
In other words, when Russia was a part of the Soviet Union,
a communist state.
It still is a communist state.
But you know what I mean. There's like a weird hybrid now.
I had to clean it up because somebody had to vulgarize it.
Oh, who did that?
That was you, Bub.
All right, let's get back to the book, babes.
Okay, that's probably where we get the word camaraderie, I would imagine, right?
One could imagine, but keep going.
It sounds like comrade. Anyway, okay.
So Squealer,
yes.
To back it up a second, maybe this will help you find your place, is telling the animals, hey, you guys actually get a lot more food now than you did when Jones was here.
Exactly. Even
though they're all starving.
Yeah, even though they're all starving, but then some of the animals are like, well, wait a minute. because they're starting to question things. They're like, wait, something isn't right here. Wait a minute, but of course, the pigs still have power over these animals, and they made them believe things that actually were not true. Shall I skip to the boxer thing?
Go ahead.
Because, there's a lot in this book, and even though it was a short one. So one day, Boxer took the last load of stone to help with the windmill. Clover and Benjamin, who are his friends, Benjamin being the donkey, says, you have to be careful. You have to take care of your health. And, Clover's a motherly mare. And you have to take care of yourself. And he's like, oh, I just a little bit more and I'll be retiring. So he takes the load of stone to where the windmill is, and then, because the windmill had to be rebuilt, and then he falls on his side, and they come to see what's going on, and he's pretty much spent his last time moving all the stone, because he worked himself pretty hard. And so, I forgot how long after this, but days go by and this guy in the van, I forgot who it was, picks up Boxer. And I know that we kind of disagree on this part. And he climbs in the van, they're all saying goodbye to Boxer. But Benjamin, the donkey, says, "You fools, don't you know what this means? Look what it says on the side." And it says Slaughterhouse. The name of the van is, it's labeled Slaughter. I forgot what the rest of the label was.
It's basically they're going to take Boxer, kill him, and turn him into glue.
Right, and they're trying to stop the van. They're trying to climb on top of the van and stop it. But after a while, you don't hear his hooves anymore because he's kicking it, and pretty soon his Boxer's face disappears, and you don't see him again. And it is possible, although I was very confused about this part, it is possible that Squealer made them think that he went to the hospital and died at the animal hospital.
See, this is why you're a Trump supporter. No, hold on.
Is that fighting words?
No, babes.
Fighting words?
No, but think about it. He's been lying. Squealer has been deceiving these animals the entire time. But you're going to believe him, even though all the evidence points to the fact that
that was the
killed.
only part that I didn't quite catch on. Everything else I caught on.
But why would he be telling the truth now? When all the evidence we have suggests otherwise.
I don't know, Bubs.
But
but the way that it was worded, okay, and keep in mind this is the first time I'm listening to this book. The way that it was worded now that I think about it, you might be right about it. But the way that it was worded, it sounded like when Squealer was telling them that he went to the hospital, or I believe it was him, one of them.
It was Squealer.
It was, and the way that it was worded suggested that maybe it was true, but you could be right about that because because they believed about the labeling, like it was a van that was borrowed. And it wasn't, the van was borrowed. It wasn't actually a real slaughterhouse van. And he wasn't taken to a slaughterhouse.
It wasn't that it was borrowed. It's that it used to belong to the slaughterhouse.
It used to belong to the slaughterhouse is what I mean.
But I just don't see how there could be any debate over this. Of course he's lying to them. Of course they had Boxer executed because he was no longer of use to them.
Right.
Yes, but keep going, babes.
Okay. Or you can chime in, actually.
Okay. Do you want me to take over then?
Yes.
Okay, so this is near the end of the book. The animals have feelings about this. Like, they think, oh, he's probably lying to us, but they can't quite articulate it because they're not as smart as he is. We should also say that for some time at this point in the book, they've been selling things like eggs to humans through a go-between.
Yes.
And we eventually come to a time when the pigs are having a meeting with humans from other farms.
Yep, the farmers, yep.
The animals decide to sneak over and see what's going on. They find a human.
This is not Star Trek.
Okay.
They are not Ferengis.
Right. Giving a toast about Animal Farm.
Yes.
Right. And then Napoleon steps up and he's like, this is so great. I know that we had a lot of problems, but I'm so glad that we could see eye to eye on this. And I just have one complaint about what my human colleague said. This is not Animal Farm. We're back to being Manor Farm.
Yeah, yep, we are. Yep.
So they all party.
The Manor Farm.
They gamble. They have a little bit of fun yelling at each other. And the animals are looking at them. And there's a point to where they can't tell who's the human.
And who's the pig.
Yes. And then the book ends.
I loved how it ended.
It's a great ending.
It is.
Not very upbeat, but...
And they couldn't tell which was great. Which.
Yes. Yes.
Can you imagine that, Bubs? Pigs and humans, pigs and humans playing cards together?
That would be very strange.
It would be very strange, especially if they were talking pigs.
Yes. But... let's get to the characters in this book.
Oh, I forgot to mention two of them. I forgot to mention Molly.
Oh, Molly's right. We didn't talk about her.
Yeah, I forgot about that. But why don't we start with Molly and Snowball?
Okay, so let's give a little bit of background on good old Molly.
Yes.
She's like a horse thing.
She's a vain horse.
She's a vain horse.
She wears ribbons in her hair.
Yeah, so she's somebody who really doesn't want the revolution. Like, life is going pretty good for Molly.
Yeah.
But she goes along with it because she's an animal.
Yes.
And
she asks the stupidest questions at the meetings.
Eventually, she starts talking to this farmer from around the way. And the other animals notice that she's been bearing these ribbons.
Yes.
So one day she escapes from Animal Farm and goes back into captivity.
Right.
Willingly.
And she, her head is being stroked and, the farmer is petting her and putting ribbons in her hair. And she loves this attention. So she's like, okay, forget it. I'm gonna leave the farm. I don't care. I'm not coming back.
All right, so let's start with characters.
Yes.
I do want to get to Molly, but I think she should come a little bit later.
Okay.
What does Major represent?
I think Major represents the starting of a revolution, starting of an animal rebellion, because he spoke to the animals after he had this dream about a free society for animals without humans.
Could we say that he, in a way, is a prophet?
Maybe an animal prophet, I suppose. Maybe. I'm not sure if I would go there, but maybe.
Okay. What do Jones and Snowball represent?
Well, Jones is interesting because you really don't see him a lot. You see him and his men. He runs a farm, but he's drunk all the time. I think, I'm not sure. Well, I can tell you what I think Snowball represents. I think that Snowball represents someone who wants better for the animals and wants to put this rebellion into use, but wants to do it wisely.
That's not where I would have gone with this.
Oh, where would you have gone with it?
Okay. I think of Animal Farm as a country. And Jones, along with Napoleon, are enemies, but they're two different types. Uh-huh. So Jones is the enemy that was oppressing them, and that they can look at and say, listen, we're not nearly as bad as we were when this guy was in charge. We're the new regime. We're a lot better. So he represents the old way of doing things.
Right, exactly.
Okay. Snowball is a traitor. So if you notice, I will refrain from saying names, but there are some politicians who embrace people until one day that person becomes a traitor, right? Mm-hmm. And we can name names, but we won't. Right. And Snowball represents somebody who used to be down with the team, and now he's an enemy to the cause.
Right now he leaves. Yeah.
If we were to put this in a modern day world, he would represent what some people call the deep state.
Exactly. Oh, see, I didn't even catch that. But what about? Okay, so you think that he could have been an establishment person?
No, I think what he represents is the idea of the traitor.
Okay.
Because he never sold out Animal Farm. But people are led to believe that because the person above them says it.
Oh, right.
And just keeps repeating it.
Okay.
He's not really a traitor. So the deep state, I think, is like a false narrative.
I don't think it's a false narrative at all. And we can go around and around and around in circles about that.
We could, but we're talking about my perspective.
Okay.
But to get people to believe in the deep state, you have to have people who are selling out to it. Right? Mm-hmm. So you might have an administration, we won't say any names, where somebody is really cool with a particular president. And then the president turns around and casts that person out. The followers can't believe that it's the president's fault because he's all knowing, he's all great. So what they have to say is this person was part of the deep state all along. And he was always a traitor.
I don't think that the deep state is a false narrative. I think that there definitely is. I don't know that Snowball would represent the deep state. Honestly.
Think of it. Let's look at this a little bit deeper, babes. Remember, when he leaves, he supposedly comes back, and he's conspiring with people, right?
Right.
They try to change his military record because he was in the battle, but they try to make it seem, no, Snowball wasn't a hero. You guys are remembering that wrong.
Much like the leftist media, but go on. Yes, actually.
No, but do you see what I'm saying?
Much like the leftist media. Go on.
Sure. I'm sure it's the leftist media who made John McCain into a traitor to this country.
No, he was a traitor, but we're not talking about McCain.
No, but that's what I'm saying. That's what Snowball represents. He represents the narrative of the traitor who's aligned himself with.
But here's the thing, though. Is it possible? Because I was thinking about this, right? They're making it sound like Snowball was the one who was a traitor, but really, Napoleon and his henchmen. I think, if I really think about it, it sounds to me like Napoleon and his henchmen were the ones who knocked down the windmill.
I know, but that's what I'm saying. This is what Snowball represents. I didn't say that's what he was.
Okay.
But I'm saying this is what he represents.
I think Napoleon and the pigs represent the deep state.
See, but this is where we go into semantics.
I think that they represented. Well, here's my perspective, if you don't mind, because you gave your perspective.
Not really. I just gave it partially. Uh-huh. So let me say this: Napoleon represents the president who says that somebody's part of the deep state, and Snowball is that person that the president accuses of being part of the deep state.
I know that's where you were going to, and now I wanted to finish with my perspective.
Go ahead.
I think Napoleon represents the deep state with the pigs, but Snowball is the president that they're blaming all the time. He's their scapegoat.
Then why did the president leave? Or why did Snowball leave?
Well, I think what he was doing is he wanted to get out of there. Now this is just I don't think that I'm not saying that any president would leave in this situation, but I'm saying that as far as what Snowball was trying to do, well, think about it though. He was trying to implement classes, right? remember, not classes, but, educating folks, giving them, jobs to do. He wasn't trying to be a dictator. He was trying to do well. It seemed like he was trying to make the rest of the animals useful. Not just milling around, but if they wanted to be independent of humans, he wanted to make use of the farm and not turn it into a desolate thing that Napoleon was doing, and all the pigs were. And all the pigs were getting all the stuff. But again, this is my perspective. I think Snowball was being used as a scapegoat, and the pigs, especially Napoleon, were the ones that were trying to turn it into a totalitarian regime.
No, but this is why I'm saying that Snowball represents the deep state, because he is being used as a scapegoat. Just like other people who are fired from administrations in our times are used as a scapegoat. And a lot of times they're labeled as traitors. And a lot of times they're labeled in with the so-called deep state.
I think they are. I think some of them are. But I do disagree about Snowball being representative of the deep state. But I think we should go on to other characters.
Like Snowball, you could kind of rename and call him like Bill Barr or whatever.
Yeah, I don't know about that, Bub.
Okay. Well, Bill Barr's not a good guy, but
I would agree. He isn't. Anyway, I could go on and on and on.
2 weeks ago, you might have had a different opinion.
Well, we were duped, Bubs.
I stopped it on me. Seems like this president gets duped a lot.
That's enough.
All right.
Hammond. That's enough.
All right, Jaylo.
That's fighting words.
All right.
Fighting words, Bubs. Fighting words.
One person after another. All right, babes.
Fighting words.
Babes. Yeah, boy. No. Relax, babes.
I haven't done that in a while, Bubs.
I know. We know you love Trump. I read this book the first time when George W. Bush was in office.
Oh, geez. We're going to go there.
Well, I just want to provide some context.
All right.
And so I looked at Snowball as like that you're either with us or against this crowd, which, I mean, each president has those types of people. It seems to get more intense when you have a Republican in office, but it doesn't mean that it doesn't mean that it's not the case.
They're fighting words.
No, it doesn't mean that it's, hold on. It doesn't mean it's not the case when you have a Democrat in office either.
Well, some of them are sensible enough, but I'm not saying all Democrats are horrible, but some of them are. There are a few that are very sensible. Not sensitive. Sensitive and sensible.
Politicians in general aren't very good people.
It depends on which politicians, because there are professional ones, and then there are ones that actually care about the people.
Okay, now that I've said my piece, let's get back to the book.
All right.
So, I think in a way we covered what you and I both think Napoleon is. I think that he could be whatever dictator you want. He could be Trump. But he could also be
Mussolini.
He could be Mussolini, right?
He could be Putin or Xi.
Yep. But I want to know. What is Squealer?
Squealer. Very interesting. So Squealer seems like he's very manipulative. You notice that? Just the way that he talks to the rest of the animals. Like, remember when earlier in the book when he was talking about tactics?
Yes.
Tactics. We're using tactics. I would say that I'm going to kind of go out on a limb because he could be like either Nancy Pelosi or Chuck Schumer.
I would not agree.
You don't?
Do you want me to tell you what Squealer is to me?
Why?
Well, I'm going to tell you what he is.
Okay.
He's the media.
I was going to get there.
Okay, go ahead.
I was going to say that how Nancy Pelosi and Chuck Schumer are portrayed when they speak when they speak in to the media or whatever it is, or the media itself. I think you're right about that.
I know. I think he's more like Fox News or OWN TV in our time, right? Mm-hmm. That's what I would equate him to. He's Fox News under Trump. And
by the way, Fox News has Fox News has gone downhill. I think he's more like CNN.
Well, let me finish, babe.
No.
But Fox News goes downhill if like one anchor says something mildly upsetting.
Oh, it's several anchors now. I mean, they've been a part of this for a long time. It was just a matter of time, and they've been very manipulative about this.
Okay, so let's say Squealer is Rush Limbaugh.
No.
Hold on, I'm giving you my analogy.
No.
In our time, right now, under this regime.
I'm telling you, Bob's totally different story.
Squealer is Limbaugh.
He's not Limbaugh.
Hold on.
He's not Limbaugh.
Babes, let me talk. In our time, Squealer is Rush Limbaugh. But if it was, let's say, 6 years ago, during Obama, then Squealer would be whoever the top star was at MSNBC at the time. Squealer represents the mouthpiece.
Yeah, the liberal mouthpiece.
No, the mouthpiece for whatever administration is running shit.
That's right, the leftist mouthpiece.
But right now, we don't have a leftist administration.
We don't have a leftist administration right now, but I'm talking about the leftist media that has been a part of this problem.
But no. Squealer is the media that follows whatever person is in power and just repeats their talking points.
Or they follow the ones that are not in power and they want to gain power. See, I see this totally different than you do, obviously. I think it's a mouthpiece for communism is what I think it is.
That's interesting.
It is communism. Which makes me think that you have no idea about what communism is.
Or
socialism.
I've read more about it. And you do know that Orwell is very sympathetic to socialism.
I know, because he was a socialist, which is kind of interesting that he would write a book like this.
It's not interesting to me. Orwell's so interesting. Conservatives try to claim him as his own.
Can we go on another book first?
Okay, but I see him as a liberal. But keep going.
He is a liberal.
Okay,
I agree with you on that.
Yes, he is a liberal.
It said it in the, but I thought it was really interesting that he would write about a socialist regime.
Yeah.
With a sticker on the barn or the whatever you call it, the thing on the barn wall that says, all animals are equal, but some animals are more equal than others. That's exactly what it is.
To me, this book definitely took a lot of its influences from Russia.
It certainly did. I just don't. Well, anyway, let's go on. I have my my own analysis about the entire book, but go on.
Oh, the police are coming.
It's for you. It's for you.
Yeah, because it's the thought police.
The thought police. Yeah.
You don't have to worry.
No, it sounds like a fire truck.
Okay, good. Babes, what do the rest of the animals represent?
Peasants.
Very good.
Peasants. Well, okay, yes, peasants, because they, unfortunately, some of them are not able to read past their own noses because they can't comprehend. And the pigs have chosen them to be manipulative because they were so easy to manipulate. And even though some of them were figuring out, wait a minute, there's something wrong about this. They still manipulated them and said, and they felt, oh, okay, well, maybe this is right. You know, Napoleon's always right? So maybe this is right. Yeah, they are the commoners, the peasants.
They're like the people nowadays who say Trump is always right. Oh, okay, all right. Or babes. Or the people 8 years ago who would say Obama's always right.
Thank you.
Yes. What's up, babes? Or the people during the Bush administration who would say you're either with us or against us. All right, babe, stop tickling.
You deserved it this time.
No, I didn't.
Mm-hmm.
Alana.
Yes.
Any other thoughts on this book?
this, although it's a very entertaining book, it's I think it would be a very, very frightening reality if this were to happen to our own country, and I really do feel that way. I mean, yeah. It's a very good book, though. I would recommend that anybody reads it. It's very entertaining. There's some funny parts. 4 legs good, 2 legs bad. That was the chant of the sheep, and they're not very smart anyway in real life. Sheep are not. So they were to kind of stop people from arguing, they would do these mantras. And what?
Sorry, no, I thought you were done, but keep going.
But no, I think that despite the interesting connotations in this book, I think that anyone should read it. It's very, I like how it was very much illustrated using animals, and I thought the author did a really, really good job of explaining things. I would enjoy. I think you would enjoy it. And I don't know why it took me this long to read it, but it was very good.
I think it's a great book. I would make the argument that this is real, right? So we don't have talking animals who overthrow farms, but it's an analogy for certain things. And in some ways, I do feel like we live on Animal Farm.
Not quite.
Very close. Not quite.
Not quite.
Very, very close.
I think that the powers that be high up would want us to live on Animal Farm.
Donald Trump. All right, baby, don't take over.
Joe Biden.
Somebody can't take criticism without a little tickling. But
ow!
I'm sorry, babe. I had to squeeze your fingers because you were like to tickle me.
Well, nobody else is here, bub.
Oh, yes. I still love you, babes, and I love this book.
I do love this book too. It's a good book. I'm excited to get to start the other one, but I think that other one is. I heard so many. I tried to read it when I was in high school, like I told you before.
Yes,
but it was. It didn't process with me, and that was back when I didn't know about government, because I just was not. I just wasn't interested.
Yes.
So imagine how my friends and I felt going to DC, studying about the government, when there were more people that knew more about the government than us, and we were just like, "This is really weird. We don't know anything about the." And granted, that time that I was a young teenager, I wasn't interested, but now I think I've matured enough to understand what 1984 is really about, and I'm excited to read it.
I don't know. But it's a good book too. I personally like Animal Farm more.
Yes.
Which goes against the popular view, but 1984 has a lot of interesting stuff in it, and it's well worth reading.
Yes.
Yes.
And it's a little bit longer.
Yeah, but that's fine.
But it's fine, yeah. So maybe I'll go into it more. I'll be able to understand it more than when I tried to understand it when I was 17 years old, because I just didn't.
Hopefully, babes.
Yes.
Yes. Very good, Jaylo.
Yes, lovely.
I read another book this week.
Oh, really? Was it good?
Yeah, it's called Calico Joe.
Oh, that's right. You told me about that the other day.
By an author that I really enjoy, John Grisham. It's basically the story of this guy who does not get along with his father. The dad used to be a major league baseball player, but he was never a star. He was just sort of like there, right? And we flash back to 30 years prior. He's 11 years old. He's a fan of this really, really good baseball player that his dad is jealous of. And one day at the field, the dad throws a ball that hits this guy in the head and basically gives him brain damage. So then we head back 30 years. The guy is an adult. He's going to see his dad because the father just got diagnosed with terminal cancer.
And this guy, and it's a brain damage guy, right?
No, it's his dad. He's going to see his father who got diagnosed with cancer.
Oh, his dad. Okay, I'm sorry.
Yes.
Okay.
before he goes there, he decides to pay a visit to the hometown of the player who his dad damaged. Basically puts out the offer, I want my dad to come and apologize for what he did. Some things happen. He gets the dad to return, say his piece, and then a couple months later, the dad dies. Oh. I don't want to give too much away, but it's a really, really good read.
Oh, good.
And it speaks to the regrets that a certain generation has. Like, there's some guys, babe, who I guess were in their prime in the 60s, who just seem like complete assholes with no redeeming qualities.
Okay.
Do you ever feel that way when you read about or watch, I guess, stories about kids who are beaten by their dads?
And they just don't, they either play it down or some of them are like that, yeah.
Yeah.
You know, and even when, you know, it doesn't matter if their sons or daughters confront them. Women are like that too. They're like, well, I don't remember it that way, so you must be lying. You know, and they don't take responsibility, and they try to play it down and said, no, it wasn't like that. I was always nice to you, or I never hurt you, or I would never, you know, that wasn't true. I didn't do that. You know, and they don't take responsibility.
It's horrible, babe.
It is very horrible. They don't feel any kind of remorse, and they don't say things like, if you felt that way, if you felt that I did it, I am very, very sorry. They just say, or like, well, no, I didn't do it, therefore I'm not sorry for what happened to you. Right? They're quick to dismiss it without even listening. Even if the daughter or son provides evidence, they'll still say, no, I didn't do that to you. It's terrible, isn't it?
Yeah, the dad in this book reminded me of a lot of those types of characters.
Yeah, and it's like, I don't like that. And some, or, you know, they just don't want to, there's no accountability. There's no accountability. And nothing makes me angry than people that will not take accountability for their own actions. And they just do not mature. Yes. They don't mature. And they don't want to they want to treat themselves like they are victims in this whole thing. Like, they're against me, they're after me. It's not my fault, it's their fault.
We have a lot of victims in this society.
I don't like that. I don't like that. No. You know, I refuse. There's a lot of things that I've been through in my own life, but I refuse to live as a victim.
Well, that's good, babes.
Yes. We must live as victors.
Okay, but I like you better as a girl, babes.
I'm you know what a victor is.
I know, babes. Okay, so we get into the Elliot Page thing we were talking about.
Oh, yeah, I suppose.
So, in case you missed the news, the artist formerly known as Ellen Page came out a couple weeks ago and said that she is transgender, and now he identifies as a male. I am confused about this. So, I believe if somebody wants to identify as a different gender, I completely appreciate that, and I will identify Elliot Page as he pleases to be, right? But, having said that, there was this weird movement online to retroactively make that the case. And I'm not saying with Elliot Page, but I'm saying with people who are a different gender and come out as a different gender or transgender. I want to use the right type of language, so if I screw up, that's my fault.
You don't have to be politically correct on this.
But you know what I mean.
Yeah.
You want people to
There's too much PC in this world, but go on.
Having said all that, how do I view films like Hard Candy and Juno? So in Juno, Ellen Page was a woman who got pregnant. But we're supposed to retroactively put this into place. So that means that Elliot Page, the guy, played a pregnant woman, which is fine. But if we are going to say Elliot Page is a man and has always been a man, then shouldn't Elliot Page get some criticism for taking work away from a woman?
I think so. And here's why I think so. number one, just because he identifies as a man, right? She was a woman in that movie, right? And it's like, why do we have to? When you look at June, I mean, because and honestly, if she was really a man, she wouldn't be able to get pregnant in the movie, and she shouldn't be pregnant in the movie. And I think they want to make it as such, but it's kind of like, here's something to think about: transgendered females, right? Men that say that they're women and they're competing against real women that are actually women. Okay, they're taking wins away from the other women that are competing against them because they're men, right?
Yeah.
Scientifically, men are going to be stronger. They are the stronger sex. Women are the weaker sex. That doesn't mean that women aren't strong. It's just that we're built differently. But you got a guy that is saying that he is a girl now, and they're competing against these women in women's sports, and they're taking the wins away from the women that deserve the wins. And I don't agree with that.
Right, but this is a different case.
Not necessarily. Because when you ask that question about her being Elliot now, taking roles away from women, I don't think that's right.
Okay, so here's how I justify it in my mind, which apparently is not cool in a lot of circles. I say, going forward, I will call him Elliot Page, because that's what he prefers to be referred to.
And I will not.
Okay, but we're talking about my opinion.
I know,
not everything's about you, Jaylo.
No, I know it's not about me. Okay. I'm just, chiming in here.
I will not refer to him retroactively as Elliot Page. So, right. Like, Netflix got a lot of good press because they changed the credit to Elliot Page's earlier movies.
Uh-huh.
But as far as I'm concerned, when I watch or refer to Juno, I'm going to refer to Ellen Page as her.
Right, because that's how it should be, I think.
I think to me, that's a fair middle ground.
Right. Right.
Yes. But that's just me. Hopefully I didn't come off as super conservative, out of touch guy.
No, you came off as super lib.
Oh, really?
Well, you weren't quite lib, but you know what I mean.
Yeah, but it's finding the medium that works. And a lot of people think that my view is way too conservative. But I think it's a realistic view. You're saying that this person has the right to be labeled a man and to go by a name. But I'm just saying, in the past, we didn't know this person as that. And they did play female roles. Yeah.
But here's the thing I have a problem with, okay?
Go ahead.
If this person feels like they're a man in their own home, right? That's one thing. I mean, she obviously is, Ellen, whatever you want to call her right now. Obviously, I don't know if they started taking male hormones or what have you, but if this person were able to change themselves internally into a guy, right? This person was born with internal female parts. If they were able to change themselves, not just physically on the outside, but internally on the inside, then maybe I would recognize them as a man. But the fact that the thing I have a problem with is that now everybody is subject to this. And then there's a question about, Mr. Page taking roles away from women, and I do have a big problem with it.
That's to me, that's the legitimate complaint as well. Could Elliot Page take a role away from a girl now, a woman?
Right.
But as far as I'm concerned, if he wants to be called Elliot Page, then who am I to say no? Live and let live, as I always say, Jaylo.
Mm.
But retroactively, when I watch Hard Candy, I'm considering myself looking at Ellen Page because I am a straight gentleman, and the film to me was very it felt like a fun film to watch as a guy.
Well, here's another thing to bring up, and I
watching a kick-ass girl on screen.
Okay, are you done?
Go ahead.
Okay, so here's another thing to think about. Okay, I'm not a huge fan of Bruce Jenner. I know that Bruce Jenner came out as Caitlyn Jenner, right?
To me, they both suck, but keep going.
Yeah, they do. I don't agree with him. So I was very confused about this because when he called himself Bruce Jenner, he was very much into women. He was big into sport. I forgot which sport it was. And he was very manly. And then I don't know how many years later, I think it might have been like 2 years ago or something, he comes out as Caitlyn Jenner. His current wife divorces him, rightfully so. And now Ms. Jenner wants to be known as Caitlyn for all those things that this person did. And this is where where I was talking about the men, biological men that want to be women are taking stuff away from women. And yeah, I don't like either of.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like, okay, so now we have to go back, change your record and say that you were a woman back then.
That's weird.
That is weird.
Yeah.
I think, and I'm just like, this guy is, I mean, even, I can't, I just don't understand.
Ms. Jenner is also an ultra conservative too.
Well, I don't know about that.
She endorsed Trump.
That doesn't make her a conservative, or that doesn't make him a conservative either. Oh. There are
and is openly against gay marriage.
Well, okay, so there are some liberal Democrats that may not be too far to the left that have also endorsed Trump as well.
I would consider those conservatives.
They're not. See, this is exactly why I think that you do not understand what real conservatism is.
Oh,
exactly why.
It's about oppressing rights while saying you're in favor of your own.
That's liberalism, Bubs.
All right, so let me ask. Okay, all right. Let me ask you something, babe.
What?
The House voted on I believe it's a resolution saying that they basically voted to legalize marijuana.
Most of them, because there are some conservatives
enough to pass it, but it has to go through the Senate, and Mitch McConnell has refused to hear this. If he did, it could legalize marijuana and get rid of a lot of criminal records. If they're for freedom, why wouldn't they want to get those records expunged for nonviolent crimes? First off,
just because legalizing marijuana is accepted among leftist Democrats, that doesn't mean that it would be thinking about the position of the marijuana thing. You know, they talk about freedom a lot, but there are people that are not for getting people high and making it so they can use an excuse for medical reasons, or they can just be they can use it for recreation.
But babe, as somebody who believes in freedom, why do you care what other
But here's the thing though. This is where we disagree. It isn't so much that they aren't for freedom, but if it comes to their own freedom, they don't care about however anyone thinks about it. Now we're subjected to their own freedom.
No.
Yes, we are. We are subjected to what they want, and we have to accept it. It's no longer, well, now they want to take our guns away. But we have the constitutional right to bear arms, whoever decides to bear arms and have something around to protect them and their family.
Yeah, it also says...
But that's different than a person having the freedom to smoke anywhere and any way they want to, and they're putting people's lives in danger.
Well, what I would say is that you put the same regulations on marijuana that you have on cigarettes. And as far as the Second Amendment, I believe people have the right to bear arms, but I also believe it says in the Second Amendment, you have the right to a well-regulated militia. So it's not that you get to own every single gun that you want to. It's well-regulated. It's in the Second Amendment.
I just think that they want to compare marijuana to everything else.
See, here's what I think. People want the right for their own freedoms, but they really don't care about other people.
That's exactly what the liberals say.
No, but it's true on both sides.
Not necessarily.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Because...
No, it isn't.
Republicans think you should be arrested for marijuana. And a lot of Democrats think
I think so too.
Think that you should be arrested for guns. Both sides want to limit your freedom.
But here's the thing, though. Marijuana, guns, if used correctly, okay? Guns are used for protection. The liberals want to say that a gun is a weapon that can kill, but what they're trying to say is that the gun has a mind of its own, and it's not the gun. It's a gun who kills, not the person. Okay, that's different.
Right, but
but hold on. Marijuana can mess with the person psychologically. Okay, it's not like a physical. You can get psychologically dependent on it, and I've known people that have been exposed to a lot of marijuana or have smoked it a lot in their time. And I honestly don't know that making it so that young people are so high that they don't remember what time it is going to solve anything.
Okay, so 2 points. One, giving people freedom of choice means that sometimes you give them the freedom to make the wrong choice. And 2, there's a lot of school shootings in this country that would not necessarily take place if we had more regulations on guns. I'm just saying. I'm just throwing that out.
Well, that's why they want armed security guards that know how to use guns to stop these people from coming into the school. And a lot of school shootings have been prevented because of armed security guards.
Right, but do you know that in the Parkland shooting, I believe it was, one of the security guards was seen running out of the building?
No, I don't. I mean, I've heard the story. I've heard the entire story, but I never heard about some security guard running out of the building.
I believe it was Parkland, but there's so many school shootings that it's hard to keep track of them.
Also, would you agree? Because there were some attempted shootings, but an armed security guard or several armed security guards were standing vigilant outside of the school to prevent anybody from coming in that actually had a weapon.
I don't think we should have. I think. In my time, we didn't have the need to have security guards at schools, at least not at the ones I went to. I
don't think that there was some. I mean, there were security guards at my high school, but I don't know that they carried guns.
There weren't at mine.
Okay.
But I went to a super lib hippie high school.
And I had to be escorted by a security person because somebody got hurt the day before.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay. So what should be the punishment if a kid shoots up a school? If you're for freedom, here's what I think the punishment should be. Mm-hmm. The kid and both parents get the death penalty.
That's a little bit extreme.
Well, you want to discourage this type of behavior, don't you?
I think that the kid should have, I think that instead of killing the kid and killing the parents, I think they need to take some gun safety classes.
After they shoot up a school?
No. To educate themselves. Yes, I think the child needs to be punished. But I don't think I don't know that the child should be punished by, I mean, if the only reason why I think if it was a kid that was premeditated shooting, right?
Yes.
That's totally different than someone that accidentally, that brings a gun to school, which they shouldn't bring a gun to school, and the gun accidentally, goes off because they pull the trigger.
Okay. In most cases, it's a kid bringing a gun to school to shoot up.
Yes, I think that he or she should get the death penalty.
What if they stole the gun from their parents?
Then that's their own fault. It's not the parents. I don't think the parents should be killed just because they put the gun somewhere where the kid could find it. Because Kip Kinkle, right? I think Kip Kinkle should have gotten the death penalty.
Right. And you can make the argument that his parents already did. But
his parents, well, because he killed his parents.
Right. But, so you don't think that a parent should be punished for having a gun out and not knowing what's going on with the gun. But you do think that somebody should be punished if they sell a joint to somebody and possibly sent to prison. See, this is my point.
That's not what
am I getting you correctly or not?
No, you're not.
Okay.
I think that for each of them, if a child brings a gun to school, he or she, because some girls carry guns, should be punished for that. The parents would probably already be punished if their child is sent to jail or a juvenile hall or even was put on trial for the death penalty. I honestly think that marijuana has been played down by the libs for a long time. I still think it's a gateway drug, and it's possibly more damaging. It's possibly more damaging than people think it is.
See, and this is where I go back to.
And I think there needs to be punishment.
This is where I go back to people fight for the freedoms that they want.
Yeah, but here's the thing, though. If a person, it's one thing for someone to protect their own family. It's another thing for someone to be on the influence of a drug and putting people's lives in danger, whether they're on the road or if somebody is staying at their house.
Okay, and I would make the argument it's one thing for somebody to smoke a joint and watch a dumb YouTube video versus somebody shoots up a school and kills 10 people.
Yeah, but even so, you mix that drug up with something else. For example, if it's alcohol, right? You mix it up with something else, then you're flirting with disaster.
But I think that's part of living in a free society.
No, but you're subjecting people to your reckless behavior by going on the road and taking that whatever's in your system with you.
Right, but if you're a parent who doesn't watch over their weapons, you're also subjecting people to your reckless behavior.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not saying that I'm not saying that it isn't, that it's right for parents to keep their weapons out. Of course not, but I don't think they should be punished for it.
See, I
think they should, they're going to be punished for it anyway if their child is being sent to jail. Because they're not taking responsibility and putting their weapons away, which they should.
See, here's my theory. I think guns and drugs should be legal, and there should be consequences to both if you get caught messing up. We already know what I think there should be if there's a school shooting or if there's a mass shooting anywhere. But I think if you're caught driving under the influence, they should treat it like they do if you're caught driving under the influence of alcohol.
I would agree with you on that.
Okay.
I would agree with you on that. If anyone is caught under the influence, at a higher, if they have a higher level of whatever is in their system, yes, they should be treated the same way.
Yeah. So my only point is people only fight for the freedoms that they want.
Well, what about cocaine though? Because cocaine is a harder drug. It's still a drug.
If people want to do it at home?
No, I mean, if they're doing it at home, but they're taking it out in public.
If they're taking it out in public, I have a problem with it. Okay. But if they're just doing it at home, or they're over at a friend's house, and I think that drugs have caused us more problems than we think it has. I think that they have, but I also think our reaction has been a little bit too extreme.
I don't think it's extreme at all.
And you got to let adults be adults.
I don't think it's extreme at all because it isn't as if, like, if a person was obese, right? You know, yes, people can get addicted to food, for sure. But if a person is obese and they're doing it to themselves, that's one thing. But if you have something in your system that could be lethal and is really bad for your health, and you're putting people in danger by taking it out on the road, even if you are at a friend's house, you're still putting their lives in danger.
My dear, in the course of this conversation, I've said, if somebody wants to do something at home, I have no issue with it. Or at a friend's house.
I just think that they're taking a risk no matter what they do with it.
But that's their risk to take. That's part of living in a free society.
But
sometimes you're going to make the wrong choices.
But here's the thing, though. You make the wrong choice, and you subject people that don't want to do those kinds of things.
Okay, what if I don't do drugs? Well, but for the sake of this conversation, let's take somebody else. Let's say somebody is at home and they decide to do drugs and they decide not to leave their house while they're on drugs. Should that person be arrested? And whatever drug if you want to say marijuana, coke, whatever drug you want to throw into the mix.
So, okay. So if they're by themselves, I can't really control that. If I wouldn't be able to, no one could really be able to control what's in their homes. But here's the thing. This is why there's kind of a fine line between that and between keeping your drug use at home. What if you had a record of getting drugs that are still illegal, right? And you are caught with it. You are caught with it at your home, and it is. You're by your. So here's okay. It's one thing if they're by themselves, right? Yes. And nobody is watching them, and they can dispose of it whenever they want to, right? But again, you're taking a risk with that, because if somebody comes to your house that doesn't do drugs, and they find it, and they feel endangered now because there are drugs in their midst, and it's illegal. It's an illegal substance. Then I have a real problem with it. See, it's very risky.
I would make the argument that when you go over to somebody's house, that's a risk you decide to take.
That is true. But while you're in this person's house, it may be a risk for someone that goes over to their house. And if it were me, I wouldn't go to their house if I knew that they were doing drugs.
Yeah.
But hold on.
Go ahead.
But you are putting other people at risk as well, because if they didn't know that you were a drug user until they went to your house, it's a different story.
But if you make them legal, then there's no risk because you're just visiting somebody's house.
I think you're just playing with fire.
See, and I think that this is where conservatives lose me on the whole they want freedom argument.
No, but if their freedoms are being imposed on other people, it's totally different, because they're screaming out, well, we want freedom to do what they want to do, but when it comes to everybody else's freedom, they don't deserve any freedoms. That's why I have a problem with it. And you could say that about conservatives, but conservatives are the one that are saying, we want freedom according to the Constitution, but when it comes to liberals wanting their own freedom, they don't care about anybody else's.
Well, I don't believe that drugs were illegal in the Constitution, babe.
But clearly, drugs have been more of a problem to us than they have been a solution.
You could make the same argument about guns.
No, but here's the thing, though. Okay, guns have been demonized for a long time because they have been used for wars. They have been used to protect their family, but it's not. It doesn't take over your entire life. I mean, you can have it if you need it, but you don't have to. You don't have to be trigger happy and shoot at anyone who doesn't, listen to you. That's a totally different.
I would make the argument that if you're a victim of the gun shooting, it could take over your entire life.
It could. I mean, that's different than someone who actually owns a gun and keeps it safely and has a conceal and carry license.
Right, but you're taking extreme examples with guns and you're giving extreme positive examples. I mean, you're giving extreme positive examples with gun use and extreme negative examples with drug use.
I just think that drugs have been more of a problem than it's not a problem to a solution. And the reason why the biggest reason why we have a drug problem, because people are crossing some of the people that have crossed our borders illegally have been transporting these drugs, have been smuggling these drugs into our country.
Yeah, and I would make the argument that if we legalize them, we could figure out a way to do it safely here, and we'd eliminate all the crime.
Yeah, I don't think that rewarding bad behavior is going to make our country better.
I don't think it's about rewarding. I think it's about saying we live in a free society. And if we really want to have that be the case, then we have to do certain things, regardless of who likes it and who doesn't. But I still love you, babes. Oh, you need a kiss, don't you?
We're having a good conversation, bud.
Yeah, babes, give me a kiss. Babes, you just made like a kiss fall. Babes, you know that there's some like writing on your wall.
Yes, I know that.
What does it say?
It is a psalm.
Oh.
It is you'll have to turn the light on. I think it's Psalm. What is it? You have to read it.
All right, hold on. Hold this, and I'm going to turn the light on. Let me see.
You didn't have to read the whole thing, but it is it is a psalm.
Let me see. Hold on. All right, let me come back here. Oh wait. Let me go with that. Okay. It says something like part of it is in cursive. Part of it says something for you. Hold on. Pillow just dropped on the ground.
Okay.
All right. For you alone, O Lord, make me dwell in safety. Okay.
But it's one of the psalms, and I can't remember what does it. Do you see the word psalm there?
Hold on. It's kind of behind you. No, just here. Okay. It says Psalm 4:8.
Yes. Okay. Thank you. So, yeah.
You're into the Bible there, Jaylo.
Do you want me to read it?
What?
Do you want me to take out the book of Psalms and read that psalm?
No, that's okay.
In context?
Maybe we could do that next time.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Because I know that you're a Bible thumper, but I love my...
Well, I wear that badge of honor, bub.
Oh, I wanted... But I love my thumper. Oh, thumper, Jaylo.
Oh, my goodness.
Jaylo, thumper. Jaylo.
Yes.
What, if any, self-love exercises have you been doing over the course of the last few days?
You know what? That is a really good question. I've been trying to get my sleep back in order. I mean, I don't know. Maybe I'm not doing the right thing, but I haven't, like I said, I've been having some problems sleeping for the last few days, and trying to do that, and making sure that my body naps when it wants to nap, and things of that sort.
So rest has been a part.
Rest has been a part of it. Yes.
Nice.
Yeah. Listening to some music and stuff like that.
What music have you been listening to?
I've been listening to some. So I'm very much into Christmas, as stated in previous episodes.
Oh.
And I love Christmas music. It gets me into the Christmas mood.
Oh.
Christmas mood.
Oh.
Yes.
That is interesting, babe. You know that you can listen to Christmas music all year round now.
I know, but I don't want to listen to it all year round.
Okay.
I mean, I could, but it just seems weird to listen to it, in April. I could. Or I could listen to it in January.
I don't get the whole Christmas thing, but I'm more festive this year just because it's been such a shit show of a year that I think we need to,
I don't think it's been horribly bad. I mean, I know it's definitely had its downs, but it could have been a lot worse.
That's true.
It could have been a lot worse. I mean, I honestly think we gotten a little bit more closer during this time than we have. We were still close before that, but I think
it's definitely increased our relationship.
It's definitely increased it. Yeah.
But that's what I'm going to put on Facebook. 2020, it could have been a lot worse.
It could have been a lot worse. Well, that just means that we can look forward to another year, and hopefully, and my hope is that we'll have a better year than what happened this year.
I do too.
And it's always good to look forward to a different year. Like, 2013 for me was, I didn't think I had a too good of a year. It just seemed like I was kind of in limbo, but the next year was better.
2013 was okay for me. 2012 was hard. 2016 was really difficult.
2012 was hard for me too.
I know a lot of people who say that about 2012.
Well, it was hard for me too because I was moving to another state, another city. I was in a program, but unfortunately I couldn't finish it, and so I had to kind of start all over again and try to figure out what I wanted to do.
This was AA?
No.
Okay. I'm joking. The Jaylo saw me.
No. And I had to get back to, I had to experience living with roommates again, and that's not what I wanted to do.
No.
Yeah.
But those days are hopefully gone.
They are gone.
Yes. Very good, Jaylo. Tell me about dreams.
I didn't have any dreams yet.
Really? None this week?
None this week, no.
Okay.
I'm looking forward to the next vivid dream that I have.
That's good, babes.
Yes.
We have decided to do an Alfred Hitchcock movie weekend.
Uh-huh.
Yes. So tonight, Jaylo and I are going to be viewing Notorious and Rope.
Oh, was it Notorious? I thought it was something else.
I think it's Notorious.
Is it?
Yeah.
Okay.
I can check on my phone.
I forgot. I thought it was the birds and something.
No. So tomorrow night.
It was Marnie. Was it Marnie? The birds and Marnie is tomorrow.
Yeah.
Okay. And Notorious and Rope.
I believe that's the order, right? I can check my phone. Do you want me to check my phone?
Yeah, because I can't remember what.
All right, hold this.
Which one? Yeah. I will hold it.
I put my phone in the other room. Just keep holding.
I will hold it.
All right. And don't say anything too crazy.
I'm not going to say anything at all.
You're not?
No.
All right, hold on.
We'll be back after this message.
You can,
And we're back.
You can really hear the rain out there, babe.
Oh, goodness.
Okay, so let me pull it up on my phone and see what we got. All right. So, yes.
Here you go.
Thank you, babes. All right, so on my phone, I always have headphones on it.
Yes.
So I always have to, undo the headphones.
Yes.
Let me see what we have. All right, I'm closing the Bard app. Hold on. You see, we've got, hold on, the folder, then go into movies. All right, so this is what we have to watch. The Man Who Knew Too Much, Notorious, Rope, and The Birds.
Okay.
So I was thinking tonight we could do Notorious and Rope, and tomorrow night we do The Man Who Knew Too Much and The Birds. Okay. Unless you want to change the order a little bit. Because I believe...
I thought we were going to watch Marnie.
That didn't download.
Oh, it didn't?
Yeah, so I tried to play the file, and there were some problems with the file.
Oh, well, we can always do that next weekend. I mean,
yeah, we
can always do that next week because there's a bunch of Alfred Hitchcock stuff that we never watched.
Yes.
Okay.
So, yes.
I think Notorious and Rope.
I can re-get it. So, Notorious and Rope is tonight. Yeah. Very good, Jaylo.
And then the Birds and The Man Who Knew Too Much. Okay.
The Man Who Knew
Too Much. Or The Man Who Knew Too Much and The Birds.
Yeah, I think that's the order we should go in because that was the theatrical release order.
Okay.
Yes. Or we could do Notorious and The Birds tonight and have a Jimmy Stewart / Hitchcock night tomorrow night. No, let's just keep it simple.
No, let's just keep it simple. I mean, it doesn't have to be like Jimmy Stewart all the time. We could have a mix of Jimmy Stewart next week and Alfred Hitchcock too.
Yes. Well, we're getting a little bit of a mix of him tonight because he's in 2 of the movies.
I seriously am loving the Jimmy Stewart movies that we've seen so far, and I would imagine that he did a lot of good movies. I'm
telling you, babe, I have great taste in movies, so
yes,
you lucked out in starting to date me. I'm saying that.
Conceited, are we?
Oh, well, I'm gonna be birthday boy soon, too. I'm gonna be. Oh
yes, you're gonna be birthday boy next week, bub. Next week.
7 days, babes.
Yeah, birthday boy. Are you excited about this, Cecile?
I'm gonna be good birthday boy.
And remember, you're turning 38 this year,
right?
Not next year. I had to say that. I thought
we all make mistakes, babes.
That was a big... No, I'm kidding. That wasn't a big one. That's okay. I know people that thought that that forgot that my birthday was in April, and then they would message me like 3 months later. How was your birthday? Oh, well, it was back in April.
Yeah, and mine's a weird one because it's Christmas Day.
Uh-huh.
I think I told you this, but the driver I had this morning,
yes,
through Lyft,
yes,
said that her son was born on the 21st of December.
Yes, I remember you said that. Yes.
Yeah, but she said that she made it a point to always let him celebrate his birthday on that date. So he would open presents then, and then again on the 25th.
See, I like that.
I do too.
I know someone who was born the day after Valentine's Day, but her parents made it a point to celebrate Valentine's Day and then celebrate her birthday the next day. And I think that should happen with anyone that has a birthday on a holiday. Always make a point to do that.
Yes.
My birthday, there are times where my birthday has fallen the day before Easter. I thought it was kind of interesting.
Did you like that or no?
No, I did. I remember there was a couple of years where Easter fell on April the 3rd. And that happens to be my uncle's birthday and now my niece's birthday.
Very cool.
So they share the same birthday. But there were years where Easter was like in the beginning of April, which usually it's like late March, mid-April.
Yeah.
Now, it's kind of strange. I don't know why they changed the dates.
They do that a lot with things. Just a lot.
Not every holiday is changed, but some of them are like...
They should change Christmas. Make it the 26th.
No.
I don't know, babes.
I don't know, Bubby.
Yes, babes.
Yes. No, they should change Valentine's Day and make it like March 1st or something.
Why?
I don't know. It's just because it's... I don't know. I mean, I don't mind Valentine's Day, but it's just used as like a... Sometimes I feel like it's very commercialized.
All holidays are, though.
Yeah, but I don't like commercialism. Although the only thing I will say about Valentine's Day and a lot of the holidays where they have like specialty things for that holiday, that's the only thing I like about the commercialism part, is that you have stuff out that wouldn't be out until like unless it was like once a year.
So does that mean that we don't celebrate Valentine's Day this year or what?
No, we can.
Okay.
No. I like celebrating Valentine's Day, provided I actually have someone to celebrate it with.
Oh my goodness, you will.
But in the past, what I've done is, if I didn't have anyone to celebrate with, I would just buy my own chocolate and just make it my own Valentine's Day. But it's nicer if you have a special someone to celebrate it with.
Oh, good babes. Good.
That's what I think. Because there have been times in my early 20s where everybody around me seemed to have a Valentine and I did not. And it was very, very hard.
Oh.
I did not like that.
Well, that will not be the case this year, babes. Unless I die before
next
then,
year.
Or get kidnapped by aliens.
That would be next year, Bubs.
Did I say this year?
Yes, you did.
But we spent time together this year, right?
Yes, we did.
It feels like it was like 5 years ago.
And we had a Valentine's Day this year, but this is this is like way before everything went down.
Yeah, it was a few weeks.
That was in our pre-pandemic pleasure episode.
Oh, that's right. Okay. Yes.
So we have a Valentine's Day that we didn't celebrate, which is next year.
Very good, babes.
Man, your math isn't good today.
No, it's just that I'm with my Jaylo and throw me off.
No, I don't.
But my math is usually really good.
It is. I will say that it is usually very good.
I used to be awesome at math.
Well, we get older. We're good at mental math and other things, but after like when it gets into like long division, I was never good with long division.
Uh-oh.
And I was never good with when you get into I don't know, like quadratic equations. Those are when it gets really tricky.
Yes.
Anyway.
Yes, you.
I digress.
You digress.
Mm-hmm.
Is there anything else you wanted to say, babes?
Oh,
I remembered.
What?
Before we move on, should I tell the idea of the skit?
What skit would that be?
The alpha male who's dating the aerobics instructor.
Oh, really?
I told you about that earlier, right?
yes. Go on. Yes.
And then we came up with an idea for a skit, but I don't remember it.
It was the one...
Oh, okay, now I remember.
Yes.
Okay, let me tell the one that I came up with, and then I'll tell the one that you and I collaborated with on. Okay, so my idea, and I had this like earlier this week or last week, is that it would be funny if Saturday Night Live or some other sketch show did a skit where a woman is teaching aerobics class or some sort of workout class, and her boyfriend is there to visit them. But her boyfriend is like this alpha male who like thinks he's too cool for the room.
Right. That was him, right? And he whispers to all the guys as they're working out.
He's like, "Hey, you're not doing this right. You call that a sit up. You can't really do this. Oh, you're here to see my girlfriend's fine body. Well, that's fine. She's never going to be with you. Maybe we could take this outside after the class."
He challenges men to push-up contests.
Yeah. That's a skeleton idea for a skit. So
I think that'd be kind of funny.
I do too. The other idea we came up with today, and I don't remember how we thought of this, but there's a man who dies. And he had a family early on, got a divorce, then started a second family. Okay. So it starts off, he's buried, the preacher is talking, and the second family is in the front row crying. Then the kids from the first marriage come in with a boombox and they're blasting, "Celebrate good times, come on." And they completely ruin the ceremony. They offer to say a few words, and they're like, "We're only in this for the money."
And they talk about all the bad things that the person has done.
Yes.
And they only talk about the negative stuff. And they're like, "We're glad that he or she is gone," whoever it is.
We hope we're still in the will.
We hope we're still in the will, yeah.
Other people come up to say good things about the dad, and they just start booing or throwing stuff at them.
Have you heard about this comedy group called The Frantics?
No.
They're a comedy group from Canada, and they did a skit called "A Boot to the Head," and it was funny because they were at this funeral, and not the funeral, but they were reading somebody's will who died, and he's like, "And I'm going to give you a boot to the head," and his sister Jenny was married to this guy who was a wimp. He's like, "And for Jenny and the wimp, a boot to the head."
Nice.
It's really funny. They did a couple of things, and then they did a skit that involved like some kind of martial arts called Taekwondo Leap. It's really funny.
Nice.
Yeah.
Alana.
Yes.
How have you and Alexa been getting along? And I just realized I said her name.
Okay, the Echo Dot.
Yes.
The Echo Dot. So far, I don't know. I've been noticing some glitches in it.
Tell me.
And I don't know what's going on with it. I don't know if it's just because I haven't used it in a few weeks. Because every time I would tell it to rewind something in a podcast, it would take a while for it to get to the place. Or if I said I wanted to play blah blah blah, it would take a while to get to back to where it was. So I don't know if it's because I don't know why it's doing that. I don't know if it's because it's updating or what it is.
It might be that. It's possible.
But it's been doing that for a while.
Huh.
Like a week or so.
Interesting.
So I don't know if I need to I don't know what I need to do about that. Do you find that your Echo Dot has been doing some glitchy things?
No, once in a while it will, but recently it's been really good.
I mean, for the most part it's been fine. But there are times where I'm like, rewind 5 minutes, rewind 10 minutes, and it'll take a while to get back to it.
That's strange.
I don't understand that. Do you know what it could be?
My only assumption would be, if it's not a software update, it might be because it doesn't store the podcast natively. That, it's streaming it. That maybe the internet connection just isn't good enough to do it right away.
Because my internet is... it's fine. There's nothing wrong with it. I don't know what.
Yeah, but it could be affected by rain. It could also be the connection of the server.
And also, too, like, because it's the winter, it's almost winter.
It's spiritually, philosophically, it is winter to me.
Well, it's going to be winter in a few days.
Okay, but I consider winter now. But go ahead.
It'll be winter. It'll be winter, like probably around Monday.
And guess who's going to be birthday boy on Friday, Jaylo?
Huh?
Guess who's going to be birthday boy on Friday?
Yes, I know you're going to be birthday boy on Friday.
Okay.
Yes, I know you're going to be birthday boy. We're going to be pretty busy in the next few days.
Yes, that's right, babes.
Lot of turkey. Oh yeah, that's right. There's a turkey in my freezer.
Because I brought it over.
A 22-pound turkey, guys.
It's gonna be good.
22-pound turkey. I said, that's a lot of turkey for the two of us. Are you sure? We would have been good at it at 18 pounds.
I know, babes. We probably would have been good at 12 pounds, but
15 to 18 pounds would have been totally fine.
That still would have been a lot of turkey.
Still would have been a lot of turkey for
this
two
is
of us.
what you get when you shop with Instacart, babes.
Well, I told you to call me and
I had to make a decision right then, babes.
Well, you could have said don't replace it. I'll check back.
I
later.
didn't know how the system works.
Oh goodness gracious!
Okay, babes, that's just me, babes.
My. Okay.
Yes.
Anyway,
but hopefully your dot will start working correctly soon.
Yeah, I hope so. It could just be the weather changes too, because that could change.
That could have an issue with your internet connection or the connection of where you're streaming from.
I do remember when my relatives had they were watching the Filipino channel a lot. This was back in the mid-90s when I first moved to the Northwest. And they subscribed to the Filipino channel. And when the weather would go bad, it would start to get all staticky and it would start to buffer.
I remember when I had a satellite dish, it would kind of be like that too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, back in the day.
Oh, those are really annoying. I mean, now it's much better. Much better.
I would assume so.
Yeah. Yeah, and the Filipino channel that they have is a lot clearer and stuff. So
very good, you. Whoa.
Yes.
So you've just been listening to Christmas music this last week, or
but I mean, so far, yes.
On Amazon or what?
Yes.
Nice.
Well, that's what I've subscribed to.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Or the local radio station. Actually, it's like the local radio station and partly on Amazon.
So I remember in Colorado, the first year I was there, some station flipped to an all Christmas format.
Uh-huh.
And I should know this, but I don't. Do any stations do that here in Portland?
That flip to an all Christmas format all year round?
Not all year round, but for like a month or two leading up to Christmas.
Oh, yes.
Until like January 1st.
In fact, you've heard of the station K103, right?
Yes.
They've been doing that like a month earlier, which I don't understand why they couldn't wait after Thanksgiving, because in Seattle, Warm 106.9 would do that for a while, and now they've changed it to an earlier Christmas format where they would do that even before Thanksgiving. It's really strange to me. I don't understand.
They're like the soft rock station the rest of the year, the soft adult contemporary
soft rock stuff. Yep. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And then there's some stuff that they play today, but most of the time it's like 70s, 80s, and 90s.
Exactly.
Yes.
The relaxing stuff, the stuff you listen to at the doctor's office.
It's not like music, Bubs.
It's a step beyond that, but it's close.
Well, the songs are better than music.
Okay, babe.
I told you that in Hawaii. I know we're kind of rambling on here,
yes.
But I told you that in Hawaii, my grandparents, when they were alive, there was a station called Kumu, Kumu, and they would only play instrumental, like music stuff, and occasionally they would play something with words in it.
Yeah, I think there should be a whole bunch of different formats for radio. Like, I don't see why there isn't one station just playing holiday music year round.
I don't know.
But you format it to the holiday.
And then Halloween music. I don't know.
Yeah, you play Halloween music, you play like Valentine's music after Christmas.
For lovers, yes.
Or you play like MLK speeches until MLK Day. Like, seriously, why not?
I don't know. Somebody will have to think about that, like to make a station like that.
But who knows? Who knows? I have great ideas, babes.
I don't know.
I think that there should be a holiday station year-round that I could avoid, and a world radio station year-round.
Yeah, but world music is so broad.
See, that's what would be so great about it, is you would have this huge playlist of songs.
That would be kind of cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. They could play, like, indigenous music from, I don't know, like, the Philippines or, music that you couldn't find anywhere else.
Yeah, and like Saturday night is like a party night. So you could play like Irish hip hop or, African hip hop. You have a hip hop night, but it's hip hop from around the world. So one night it'll be from
like British hip hop.
Yeah. And another night it could be from Mexico or what,
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
Korean hip hop, I guess.
Yes. K-hop.
K-hop instead of K-pop. Or J-hop.
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 Oh, J-hop.
J-hop.
Yes, you will.
Why did you touch my hand when you said J-hop?
I just thought you wanted me to.
Really?
Yeah.
That was kind of funny.
Well, thank you, babes.
Yes, there's J-pop and K-pop.
That's right, babes.
Mm-hmm.
Jaylo.
Yes.
Is there anything else you want to talk about?
No.
So.
Yes.
After this, should we put in an Instacart order?
Yes, it doesn't have to be like a whole bunch of stuff because I do want to get bread.
Great. And then what do you want to watch? Do you want to listen to some Ken Burns? Do you want to watch some DS9? Do you just want to make out?
We'll get to it when we get to it.
Okay. Very good. Well, let's start with the making out now.
Oh, my goodness.
Oh, yeah.
That's enough.
Why? What happened?
Loves, come on.
What?
Don't make it a spectacle here.
I would never do that, babes. Give me a kiss because I haven't had one in a while.
Yes, you did.
When?
Like a few seconds ago.
You've heard a 10-second Tom?
Yes.
I'm like 10-second Rick. Hi, my name is Rick. Hi,
I remember
my name
that.
is Rick. Hi, my name is Rick. Sorry.
Hi, my name is Alana.
Hi, my name is Rick. Sorry, I can't.
Where did that come from?
From the movie you like, the disturbing one with Adam Sandler. 50 First Dates.
Oh, yes. Hi, my name is I remember that, yes.
Yes.
I knew someone that was just like that.
Oh.
I would tell him something and he would just completely forget it 10 seconds later. I'm like, I remember I told you that, but he also had cancer.
Oh, that sucks.
Yeah.
Well, I guess the benefit in having cancer in a situation like that is you really don't have time to worry about it. Because 10 seconds later, you forget it.
I mean, he seemed like a nice guy, but he was kind of a weirdo.
Oh, well, give me a kiss.
Oh my goodness. Are you 10-second Rick again?
No, this is for the weirdos. All right, Jaylo, I think maybe we should order some food because it is now like 2:11.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Only?
We started this at like 12.
Oh, wow.
A little after 12, so
okay.
Probably just over 2 hours.
All right, bub.
All right, babes. All right, Jaylo, unless there's anything else you wanted to say?
I hope you enjoyed this. Have a happy Friday.
Happy Friday.
And just to let you know, it's going to be a different kind of podcast tomorrow.
No, so we're doing a regular one, and then after that we're going to
we are. Okay, well, okay. So I was a little confused by that.
Okay.
Okay.
We're really going, and then we're going to do Jaylo Loves Jesus.
Wait a minute.
What?
When are we going to do the regular one?
First thing in the morning after the meeting, and then we're going to take a break, and then we're going to do the Bible one.
Okay.
Yes. We're going to do Jaylo Loves Jesus, Jaylo Loves Jesus. Da-da-da-da. Jaylo loves Jesus, Jaylo loves Jesus. Da-da-da-da-da-da.
Is that supposed to be like a 50s theme song?
Like that song Mama Loves Mambo, but it says Jaylo
Mama loves Mambo, Mama loves Mambo.
Instead of that, it's Jaylo loves Jesus.
Okay, you're having way too much fun with this.
Sorry, babes. I thought I was supposed to have fun because I'm getting older.
Oh my goodness, Bubs.
All right, babes. What are you grabbing over there?
Oh no, it's just my my toiletries.
Oh, okay.
Toiletries.
All right, babes.
All right.
I love you, Jaylo.
I love you too, and we love all of you, or some of you.
Some of you.
Yes.
Some of you.
Yes.
Never mind. All right. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.